Sophia clutched her worn-out backpack as she stepped onto the crowded city bus, exhausted from another long day of juggling college classes and her part-time job. The weight of overdue rent, upcoming exams, and an empty refrigerator pressed on her shoulders like an unbearable burden. As she scanned the packed bus for a seat, her eyes caught an elderly woman struggling to hold on to the overhead rail. Without hesitation, Sophia stood up. "Here, ma'am. Please take my seat." The old lady smiled warmly, her frail hands trembling as she settled down. "You're very kind, dear. The world needs more people like you." Sophia simply nodded, gripping the rail tightly as the bus jerked forward. Kindness wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity, something her late mother had always taught her. Even when they barely had enough to eat, her mother found ways to help others. Sophia tried to live by that principle, even if her own struggles felt overwhelming. As the bus rumbled through the city, an older man sitting across from them observed the exchange. He wore a tailored suit, his sharp eyes filled with curiosity and quiet admiration. When the bus reached its next stop, the old lady patted Sophia's hand. "Thank you again, dear. I hope life rewards your kindness." Sophia forced a smile. "I hope so too, ma'am." She stepped off the bus, unaware that her simple act of generosity had set an extraordinary chain of events into motion. A week later, as Sophia rushed between her classes, she received a call from an unknown number. Hesitating for a moment, she answered. "Hello. Is this Sophia Bennett?" an unfamiliar male voice asked. "Yes, who is this?" she asked cautiously. "My name is James Harrington. I believe you gave up your seat for my grandmother on the bus last week." Sophia frowned. She barely remembered the encounter, but she recalled the sweet old lady with a gentle smile. "Oh, yes. Is she all right?" James chuckled. "She's more than all right. She was deeply moved by your kindness, and so am I. I wanted to meet you. Would you have time for coffee?" Sophia hesitated. A stranger wanting to meet her. But something in his tone reassured her, and against her better judgment, she agreed. At a cozy cafe, Sophia sat across from James, a tall, well-dressed man in his late 20s. He looked like he belonged to another world, one of luxury and ease. "I'll get straight to the point," James said. "My grandmother, Eleanor, is one of the most important people in my life. She raised me after my parents passed away. She believes in kindness above all else, and she was touched by your simple act of giving up your seat. That act made me realize something: the world needs more people like you." Sophia blushed, feeling out of place. "I just did what anyone should do." James shook his head. "No, not everyone does. But you did, even when you're struggling yourself." He leaned forward. "Sophia, I run a foundation that provides scholarships for students who show exceptional character. I want to help you." Sophia's heart pounded. "Help me?" James smiled. "A full scholarship. Your tuition, books, housing, everything. You won't have to struggle anymore." Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes. For so long, she had fought alone, believing that life would never get easier. And now, a stranger's gratitude was changing everything. "I don't know what to say," she whispered, overwhelmed. "Say yes," James said gently. Sophia nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Yes." Years later, standing in front of her graduating class, Sophia recounted the moment that had altered her destiny. "One act of kindness," she said, voice steady with emotion, "can change a life. I gave up my seat, thinking I was just helping an elderly woman. But in reality, that moment gave me a future." In the audience, James and Eleanor Harrington beamed with pride. Sophia had not only completed her education but had also started her own initiative, helping underprivileged students just like herself. Because kindness always finds its way back, often in ways we never expect.